it's playoff time, and I think that's everyone's favourite time of the season, apart from when your club's in it, like me and Simon. So, Simon, Luton versus Huddersfield, what do you think about it?
Out of
For,
the three teams, technically it were two teams because of you guys being either third or fourth. Out of the two teams, Luton or Sheffield United, I prefer Luton because of all the injuries. Um, so they haven't got a full, you know, it's not the easiest tie. It's going to be the toughest games going. Don't get me wrong, but out of the two, Sheffield United or Luton, I would have took Luton all day long. You know.
but surely we'd wanted a Yorkshire derby against Sheffield, or do you want to like
Mm,
save that for potentially being in the final?
that's ideally, from my point of view, and this is going to get under possibly your skin and all the Forest fans what's going to jump into or bring on the heat. But for me, I wanted to play you guys, right? And I wanted to play you guys in the playoff semis. I know it were impossible. I know it were, a pipe dream. But it were at the time when you had your 4 games and you were banging on about, oh, we're going to get second. I would have just loved for you to drop down so we could play, last few games you had to win to get in the playoffs. And then you're in Luton's position. So we could play you home and away, beat you because I think personally we've got the better team. Beat you and let off fireworks because that FA Cup tie, since then, you not you personally, not Luke, not Laquan, but some of your fan base have just banged on and on and on, week in, week out, giving it large. Oh, I noticed Town have done this, Town at this, Town that. Tried to build some sort of rivalry. So for me personally, I would have loved to play you guys in the semis, battered you, and let off fireworks just like you guys did in FA Cup.
And I mean,
And yes, it's come out later on. It's a Greek restaurant. That's fine, but it's still.
mm,
It was the way it was brought up. It was the way it was done. You know what I mean?
mm. But I mean, I think there was this championship show. I think it was like before Bournemouth. You said to me, didn't you? Do you think you like top 6 predictions? And I think I went. I think I put Forest third, and obviously we got fourth. And so I think we were going to miss out on top 2.
I said to you guys, and I've been saying it. Forest will not finish second. I said it months before this whole thing about you guys getting on board with 4 games and all this malarkey. Like I said, some of your fan base on Twitter, personally, uh, was just automatically assumed you were getting second spot. And it was a bittersweet moment when you didn't even get third spot for me. Just to be like, yeah, fuck off. You know what I mean? I know that sounds a bit, it's just the niggling, the constant biting at town tweets and stuff like that. You know, when we do a celebration at end of game, we've
Yeah.
always done it for years. We've done it, but you've all of a sudden noticed that we've started doing it, and you're all like, "Oh well, celebrating only a cup league game." Well, no, it's us. What's the word? Building a team together. They're finally gelled. They're finally on board. They're finally, we're all back singing the same song, if that makes sense. Thank you. Whereas before that, we didn't do it at every game because before Christmas, we were all, personally, I was calling for Carlos to be out, remember?
Yeah, I do remember that. Like,
Because
you
his tactics were all wrong. We just didn't gel, you know what I mean? And then after, I think it were from November through to, we went on that unbeaten run, 17, I think it was.
I think from what I've watched from Benjamin Boone, I think it was like start of December.
Yeah, so I mean, for him to turn it around, everyone gelled, and then we all started feeling like there was a team again, feeling like people, because for half a season, we didn't know who were in charge of the club, let alone the team performing, you know, or Carlos changing his tactics, which I could, looking back now, I can see what he was doing. But at the time, I'm like, what are you doing? It isn't working. Why change it? We were on top of teams, and then it's changing it at half time. Well, just after half time to bit, and then we're losing. You know what I mean? It just didn't make sense.
Mm,
But now, looking back, doing like a season review, so to speak, looking back, I could see what he were doing, but at the time it was the wrong choice to do because we didn't have these players fit. There wasn't knowing the system what they were supposed to be doing, if that makes sense. So we've come a long way since Christmas. I think if anything, we've had a fantastic season. Whether we lose to Luton in the semis or get to Wembley and lose, this season will still go down in history as one of the best seasons we've had. It doesn't matter. Obviously, I'd like to go on and then finish the season off with a playoff win, but
mm. Talking about who's going to win the playoffs, thanks for bringing me into this. I did a poll. It's got 4 hours left. Right now, Huddersfield are winning 41.1 to Forest 38.4. And
nice.
then and then Sheffield United 15.3 and Luton 5.3.
That tells me if it's gone out to the Sheffield fans, they're not feeling confident coming up against you guys.
Mm. And I mean, I think obviously we'll discuss this with I think my panel of Forest fans that I've got lined up for tomorrow. But Benjamin Boone's preview, like I just mentioned with Luton, says that uh, Sheffield United's home form is really good, but then it's the away form which lets them down.
Yep.
So, like, if we get because both for all two league games have been 1-1 draws. So, say we went there and got a 1-1 draw. Sheffield Sheffield United's away forms are really bad.
I think, and no disrespect to Luton or ourselves here, but as a neutral, all eyes will be on the Forest Sheffield United game.
Mm,
You know, I
yeah.
mean, so we're sort of like under the radar in terms of that. Like we finished third, yet we're still lower than you guys or Sheffield United to go up in odds, betting odds. Now I would show you, but I've not got access to yours. But I've got it on our championship show, what we do, which, by the way, it's been cancelled this week for last week. Uh, but on our championship show, I've got it in the things to put on screen. But Town, if I can just grab it.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay, well, why see Simon's in that? I'll just talk about the game. I've put in a ticker. Luton, can they take advantage of being at home? That fast start, Luton 30, 40 minutes, the first 30 and 40 minutes, they've got to get a goal then, because if Town go through that without conceding and being like 0-0, they'll be like we've weathered like the worst of the storm and we've got a home leg coming on like we're towards half time in the tie. But can Huddersfield put himself like drawing or in the driving seat going into the second leg in the home leg? What do you think, Simon?
Well, going off league form, we were at Luton, Kenilworth Road. We drew with them 0-0, and they had the majority of the crowd then. I personally don't think at Luton the crowd can intimidate Huddersfield. You know, I'm not disrespect to Luton at all. I'm just saying, like, you know, I don't think it'll be that bad of a tie. It's going to be a tough tie. It's going to be a draw potentially. I think it may be 1-0 Huddersfield or 1-0 Luton. Come to Huddersfield, it's a different ball game. I think Huddersfield will get all of the team will get some boost off the town fans and go for the win, go for the kill. If not, it'll go through penalties, and I think we'll win on penalties. So it's going to be two tough games. So,
and I mean, if you cast your mind back to, I think it's the season where Villa went up and beating Derby in the playoff semi-final or playoff final. In the semi-final against West Brom, it went down to penalties, didn't it? Because I swear
yeah,
it was like 0-0 on the night or something.
yep. I think did Carlin Grant sign for him at that point?
I'm not sure. But yeah, all I can remember is it went down to penalties. I can see one of the ties going down to penalties, and I think if it is one of the ties that goes down to penalties, I feel like it could be Forest Sheffield United.
I think either way, Luton will be up for it because of it being the what's the word? A big occasion for them. They've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. They've got back-to-back promotions in the last few seasons. You know what I mean? So, I think it'll be a 1-0 either way, Huddersfield or Luton. That's my opinion for that game. My review, my what's it?
Preview
for it, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough because I think they're on the 9th emergency. No, they're down to what's it? Aren't they? I think they've on the 6th goalkeeper this season. They've had emergency loans. They've got half of the team out. So I think it'll be a good tie. Don't get me wrong, but it'll be a scrappy 1-0 victory either way. Or if Town Huddersfield, that is, they could go there and think, you know what, screw it. This is a playoff. We're going to go for it and turn up and win 2-3-0 potentially. It depends what Carlos' frame of mind is. You know what I mean? Now we've got players there what's been promoted with Huddersfield Town, like for instance Ward, Hogg, Rhodes, Holmes. Holmes will be a bit gutted because of the Derby one. You know, he wants to go back and actually be like, go up. You know what I mean? He wants to win at Wembley. So he's a bit gutted with that one. So that'll be playing on his mind. But we've got young players in, like Sober and all others. They're like, well, we've never been in this game. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to watch. It'll be interesting to see which team turns up. So I've been trying to get it up. I'm sorry, I'm taking over your show out a little bit, but these are odds as of 7th. Forest are 13-8 favourites at Sky Bet, Paddy Power, Betway, and Betfair. They're all favourites. Forest are the favourite team going into the playoffs. Sheffield United come up at 9-4 as second favourites. Huddersfield Town are 7-2, on Sky Bet, but 3-1 on Paddy, Betway, and Betfair. And then Luton, the outsider, are 4-1 to go up. So that tells you what they are thinking. Everyone's forgot that Huddersfield Town and Luton Town was tipped to get relegated this season. Yet we're there battling for a playoff place for Wembley to potentially get an 190 plus £1 million payout. So it's a true underdog story, and I love proving people wrong. Just like the season we was meant to go down, we went up on a minus goal difference in a penalty shootout against Reading in 2017.
I still don't know
Christopher
how you did that, by the way. How? How is that physically possible?
Don't know. And we're only team in history to do it as well. No one else has repeated it or ever done it before us.
Okay, Simon, obviously we know your opinion on VAR here in the banter chat, but now they're not using it in the semi-final and they're using it in the final instead. What do you make? Because obviously
Correction, they might be using it in the final.
they are.
They haven't confirmed it yet.
Think VAR will be using the championship final. But I mean, okay, I get why they're not using it in the semis because Luton.
Listen, here's my opinion on VAR. VAR is ruining the player, the game of football, right? I can see your point of it because of Bournemouth. You wanted second position. I understand why you're upset over that. But it was an error by the officials. It was an error which you always, me personally, walk away from the stadium effing and jeffing about the referee. For God's sake, it should have been this, blah, blah, blah. We should have got a penalty, right? Yeah? You in agreement with that so far, yeah? You come back home, you watch Quest or other shows, check out the highlights somehow. You see that decision again and you think, oh, actually, they may have been right there. Right? Or you think, no, still wrong. You listen to what the pundits say. They say, actually, I think it should have been a penalty. It's a bit harsh there, which is, but that's part and parcel of football. That's why we love football. It's about opinions. It's about referees fucking up. Yes, I will hold my hands up. Every other week I say the referee is shit. The officials are shit. They are useless. We need better refereeing in this country. I will say that. I will die with that. You know what I'm saying? But VAR, we've seen it in the Premier League now. It's useless. The decision making is useless. There was it was used in that UEFA European Championship thing what West Ham were in. It's not Champions League, it's that Conference League thingy, Europa. Yeah. So West Ham, I've been watching West Ham this season for some reason. I've got this slight tie with them. Soft spot, so to speak, with them. I think it's mainly because of Mark Noble. I love that guy. I think it's only Englishman midfielder who's never been picked for England who should have been. And just that's my opinion. The man gives it 110 every time he plays. Is a credit to West Ham. You know what I mean? Anyway, off that, Cresswell, it should have been a red. Yes, great. But the referee had already given him a yellow. The play carried on. And because VAR checked it behind the scenes, they called it back and he got a red card. Now, that cost him the game, that. And that were only 4 minutes in. And that's why I can't stand VAR. Once the referee has made his decision, unless he says, actually, I think I need to go to the screen and does the VAR sign, VAR should not be getting involved.
Mm.
Now, in rugby league, it's killed that sport. I love rugby league. I used to play it. I used to be 100% all over rugby league every single week in, week out. I were a season ticket for Huddersfield Giants. Now, that's at my local rugby league team. Super League has introduced, as soon as Super League introduced the going to the screen, which is technically VAR, equivalent to football's VAR, right? It killed the sport. It stopped. It takes forever for them to check every angle, check every possibility, and it's killed the sport. It's not as fun. It's not as good to watch. Don't get me wrong. I'll be watching tonight, Huddersfield Giants versus Wigan, but it killed Super League. It's taken the sport and destroyed it, in my opinion. I'm not a massive fan. I don't get interested. I watch occasionally, you know what I mean?
Mm.
But VAR is going to do that to football.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. I know you said backstage you had to at 5.
Oh no, I've got a bit longer. I'll let you know when I need to go.
Okay. But I wanted to end it now anyway. So.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So what is your prediction just quickly before it ended?
I'm hoping for a draw down there and bring them back Monday and beat them. Personally, I just don't want them to win down there, bring it up here, and then don't do no. I want us to win at home, so I'm there. You see, because I'm not lucky enough to get a ticket for Luton. That's the only thing. Sorry, Mark, if you watch this back. I hope you do well, but I'm a Town fan, Huddersfield Town fan.
Okay. So thanks everyone for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next stream.
Owen, no, one prediction.